Hello. Hello. I'm live on two platforms, two screens today, and I'm just reshuffling my cards on screen. Welcome. My name's Christy. Trust Your Glitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook right now. Just gonna pull some cards intuitively to open up energy. I'm on the East Coast. I'm currently getting some snow. I'm just gonna be biggest blizzards on the East Coast. Gonna do some tarot and not really gonna take any personal questions today for those who are on my Facebook or Insta. So if you're just popping through, I will put the replay up. I'm just gonna follow my cards today because that's the feeling that I got from this 222 portal. 222. I'm gonna pull some cards to kind of open up the energy. And then I do have a feeling on which chart I'm going to be looking at. I actually have that open. So I'm going to look at one astrology chart today. If you do want to join my live streams and ask questions, you're welcome to send me DMs throughout the week, and I will answer anonymously on my lives. It's just that today I just felt like I needed to just pull cards live. So I'm going to just open up with like a story that I'm going to watch my cards. I have 4 cards on the table right now. The 5th card that's not long. No, I see it. Okay. Celebration, origins of life, sovereign cohesion, autonomous initiator. Most of my cards have been pretty consistently showing up the same cards. So celebration is the 4 of Wands. Strength, which is origins of light. This card played a prominent role on my last live stream. I can actually hold it and be on both cameras, but here's a closer look here. This look here. The lion or the emperor, which it depends on how we want to see that lion right now, because both of these cards are about the energy of the lion. The strength card, and if we put it this way, actually, there is the infinity symbol going through this. The lion. So I would recommend anybody go back to 8/8 of last year and see if anything is coming through right now that's very similar. Autonomous initiator is the Knight of Light Codes, Knight of Wands, and I have to cover this up for unity, the Devil, which is in this case the Catalyst. The card, which it's almost like she's flipping off the light. So before I go any further on my cards, the 2/2 portal, 2/2/2, the gold of earth, I keep pulling these same cards. Victory or battle. So this morning I was kind of like in a meditation mode, and I keep hearing that we've already won. The light has already won. But in the middle of already winning, there's, we had somebody just get lynched in Georgia. We've had several people getting killed, murdered, hurt, students in schools being choked out by authority figures, and so on and so forth. So one of the things I want to say intuitively that I feel is to hold your frequency really high and to understand that it's going to be like coming at us from all angles, all of these spiritual attacks, and that the forest, the 10 of Earth Guardians, this could be your personal life, it could feel like that thing that you've been trying to resolve is still here. Understand that this is a time of the wands being kind of put forward. Like if you think of the Olympic ceremonies, the wands are being passed, the torch is being passed. And so we're watching power structures and power dynamics shift across the world. We're looking at the macrocosm here, the stone circle, where we're changing seasons very soon, in a month from now. Sherry, that is trying to feel through energy. These two were from last time, they're face up, so I'm just gonna put them down for a moment. And I'm just gonna sit with the energy and shuffle. This is gonna be a very short live. Think of your question while we're in the 222 portal, which is about relationships. It's about the relational connections we have in our lives, be it, one-on-one relationships with ourselves, divine masculine, divine feminine, cohesion of both sides, right? So if we're looking at this in a perspective of war, it's like when they say, like, which side are you on? Is it really about sides, or is it about balance internally? And in this case, also externally, our external and our internal. So think of your question. I'm going to pull 3 cards, past, present, and future. So past being the last 6 months, present like right now, and future as it stands. Understand when you pull future cards, right before Mercury retrograde, which Mercury retrograde, because we're on linear time, is I'm just looking at my ephemeris right now. I had like ones open today. So if you want to get a reading with me, I can look at your chart. For readings, you can email me at Christina, Kristina, Village, BELICH at gmail.com. And you can schedule a reading with me if you would like. Retrograde February the 26th, 22 degrees of Pisces. So that is when our Mercury retrograde begins. So I'm going to put away these cards. I'm going to put away cards that frequently come up in my readings. I'm actually going to put them to the side. And I'm just going to shuffle really well. And usually I just feel it. And then past. I said it's the present, but it's saying 2 weeks from now. So it's like present through 2 weeks from now. Future as it stands right now, knowing we're going into Mercury retrograde. Your past card is the world. And the definition of the world, and this is the lights collect. So huge changes, it's all about change, it's all about cyclical developments. It is the art-inspired for the Golden Age Tarot deck. But it also represents being protected from all corners. So that is through Archangel Raphael, Michael, Uriel, and Gabriel. And the present, it said for 2 weeks from now as well, the 8 of Earth Guardians or 8 of Pentacles. Keep that step by step, almost like you're in a cave. Right now I'm filming from the basement. So it's kind of like keep doing the process. Keep going step by step, even though it doesn't feel like it's paying off right now. Take your time, keep going. Aligned action. The future as it stands, the celestial tree, the Akashic records. This is the hanged man. So I'd be interested to see if these Epstein developments. Let me see for a moment. With the movement of Aries, Saturn and Aries, with the conjunction of Neptune, or Saturn and Neptune in Aries, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Portals. We're going to have a deep development here, and it's about the Akashic records and portals in the ocean. So really pay attention to what we're going to have revealed that happens near or around water, near or around the ocean, shorelines, because ocean, boats, nautical developments related to the Akashic records are very important here. It connects us from the cosmos into the ocean and is related to our origin of life. I also want to shout out anything related to any authors that are or write about lost texts, lost books, lost ancient texts and books, because a lot of that is going to be coming to the surface. So in your personal life, I would say kind of look into your family lineage or anything that sticks out to you related to any spiritual connections you may have. If you have names, if you have symbols, if you have anything that you're looking, like researching for yourself, this is the time that this kind of stuff is going to be calling to you as well. So I had, this is the only other thing I'm going to talk about today. It's a very low-key live. I don't know how it sounds, the sound is on my computer, but I'm looking at Peter Thiel's astrology chart. I don't have his time of birth, but his astrology chart, he is the CEO of Palantir. I have his astrology chart here through Astro Theme. He, if I don't have a time for it, it's just like an idea, so I might have to actually pull cards while I read his chart. He was born October 11th, 1967, no time known, in Frankfurt am Main, Germany. He is a Libra Sun, Capricorn. Based on his birth time set for noon, he's a Capricorn moon. If he was born within an hour after that, later in the day, he could be an Aquarius moon. And he is a fire goat Chinese astrology, and his zodiac number is 8. So I'm just going to take a peek at his chart. I just took a glance to see, and all I looked at was his sun and moon. But I just want to take a peek at his chart to kind of see why I felt called to look at his chart today. And I really have no plan based on like thing other than I felt called to look at this. So Peter Thiel, CEO of Palantir, big tech guy. He is a Libra, possibly Capricorn or Aquarius moon, which his moon in Capricorn, if it was in Capricorn, received the great conjunctions of 2020. If it's in the later degrees of Capricorn, if it's in the earlier degrees of Aquarius, he's actually having a Pluto moon transit right now as we speak, as Pluto is in the earlier degrees of Aquarius. So he is lined up with the big tech energy, and my guess is he most likely, just based on his job description and where he's the CEO, has an Aquarius moon, and he is most likely receiving that Pluto conjunction if we were to find out a time. And he's a Capricorn moon. then those right conjunctions open many doors for him. And the thing that sticks out to me when I look at this chart, whether it's Peter Thiel or anybody with this birthday, is that he is going to be having in the upcoming year, he's heading towards, well, year and a half, heading towards his Saturn return. His Saturn is at 8 degrees Aries and part of a generation receiving their Saturn return. So anybody born in this time frame, like 67, 68, is going to be going through their Saturn return. Whether it's your first Saturn return, second, third Saturn return. And so he has actually with his Saturn a conjunction with Lilith, which is not an easy conjunction if you don't like women. He also has his North Node in Aries and later degrees. So I think it's interesting. We have a lot of transits happening in Aries, and he has a lot of Aries karma. So we just have to kind of like put a note there, because when you have a lot of karmic points, he is both, his karma is in Libra, his South Node is in Libra, but his Saturn is in Aries. So part of his life path is understanding the energy of independence, and what he's releasing, letting go in his South Node is in Libra, which is a lot of codependent energy. So he is a sun in Libra, and having his sun and his South Node in the same sign is very interesting to me, because I kind of see it as like part of his life purpose. And it's interesting that there's like a Christian tech boom, like a lot of those Silicon Valley guys started going back to church. So I think it's and he's like one of the leaders there in that movement, which I find very weird and interesting at the same time. So obviously I'm reading this chart knowing about him. If I weren't to know about him and I were to look at this chart, I would say, he is part of that generation that had baby boomer, I guess, esque, right? Baby boomer, a little bit further. He's like Gen X. So he's part of a generation, Uranus Pluto conjunction generation, which is a part of the tech boom, is a part of Silicon Valley, is a part of that. So he's all part of all of the advances in technology, whether he's Peter Thiel or just a chart that I were to be given. The thing that sticks out to me is because he's a Libra sun, I have to look at his Venus, because Libra's home planet is Venus, and his Venus is in Virgo. And so having his Venus in Virgo is very interesting, because Virgo is very diligent, is about data, is about analytics. So if I were to look at his chart without even knowing his ascendant, which I don't know, I would say, oh, hey, do you have like a career that allows you to creatively explore data and analytics? So logistics. So that's the thing about him, is he has it built into his chart. So his Venus, now when we look out, his Venus is ruled by Mercury, because Mercury actually is a co-ruled sign, or I'm saying things backwards, but what I mean, Mercury co-rules two signs. So that is Gemini and Virgo. So we want to look at his Mercury. So this is how to kind of look at a chart if somebody doesn't know their time. You kind of want to look at the rulers of the planets that are personal to them. So we want to look at Mercury, Mars, Venus first from the sun to kind of get and build out a story for the missing data that we have. So Mercury in his chart is in Scorpio, which is a deep researcher, really involved in things that we might not be privy to, kind of behind the scenes. Scorpio Mercury is a great researcher, somebody who might be in like Intel, stuff like that. So it's very interesting that his chart does line up with what he does. He's also going to be having a Jupiter return coming up soon. Jupiter is really enter the sign of Leo, but he has his Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter enters Leo. This is why I have my ephemeris out at all times, because I don't know about you. My memory has not been really great the last few weeks with all these eclipses, all this Pisces in the air, and I have a natal Mercury retrograde. So my memory has been in kind of a, are we in June? It'll be in June. I just don't remember the date. It's like June 30, June 30th. Jupiter enters Leo. Okay. I just wanted to confirm that, but he won't be having that until way later next year. So one of the things that I do want to note is, say I didn't know this person. His north node is trine his Jupiter, which is very nice. It means that they're both fire signs, or both the same element. So this is actually quite lovely because he is in his path of kind of learning and discovering and expanding knowledge in many ways with Jupiter. And his Jupiter is about receiving finances in a very king-like way, because he has his Jupiter in the sign of Leo. The other thing is, I was discussing Regulus on last video in relation to Donald Trump and JD Vance and the royal fixed star of Regulus. A lot of times when we see prominent figures, heads of, the heads of their whatever. So whether they're a tech lord, overlord, the head of whatever, right? The head of the blank. We might want to look at their Regulus, because the royal fixed star of Regulus often is shown in charts of prominent figures. So it just happens to be that his Jupiter is conjunct the royal fixed star of Regulus. And so we want to look at this as somebody who's the head of his field. And so that's another thing that we want to look at with Peter Thiel, is Jupiter is a planet of spirituality in a sign Leo, which Leo is an interesting sign because Leo is the king, who is kind of about expression and expressing oneself. And so, let's see. I will. So Leo's mantra is I will. So I will blank. So when you have Jupiter in Leo, we will go, I will. What does Jupiter do? Expand spirituality, expand knowledge, expand blank, blank, blank. So on a very positive side, like if this chart is being used for the light, I will balance Libra. I will balance through my ability to analyze Venus and Virgo, and through my desires, Mercury and Scorpio. So if we just look at the mantras of the chart, if we break down the chart into what the mottos of these signs are, it could be a very positive way of developing tech, which we know Peter Thiel is involved in. Now with his karma, so his karma is in Aries. Aries motto, I am. So knowing that he is going to be going through a Saturn return, he's in the pocket of this. I am with Saturn in Aries. Saturn in Aries is if we look at this karmically, if this person were somebody I didn't know, and they're using karma in a positive way. I actually feel like I need to pull a card for this. I need a little help with the words. I am here for the new earth. new Earth transition, the moon. So the moon is about hidden things, things that we don't know that are happening. The collective awakening. So he's serving his purpose. But sometimes somebody's purpose is not always the best. Like when we look at somebody like Epstein, their purpose is not the best. Donald Trump, he's serving his chart. So let me actually ask the cards, what I feel like I only need to pull 2 more cards at this. I heard this one, you will not like it, but you will move through it. Okay. So this is my least favorite card in the tarot deck. Every time I pull it, I'm like, I do not like this tarot card. This is the 7 of Swords. It is, anytime I pull it, you will see me having a reaction to it. If you are neurodivergent, you hate this card too, because it's about, this is wings of integrity, right? Often associated with the animal coyote or fox medicine, an action plan, 2 of light cups. And my guides are like 2 cards and that's it. So usually when I pull this card, I pull like 10 cards around it to be like, how can we protect around this energy? And we can't. The only thing we can do is take aligned action with, many things. So it was, I did a reading today for somebody, and I said, because of the nature of Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and I will get more into that as the week goes on, we're not going to have all the answers we need at once. We're not going to have them. It's just moving through this like the ocean, the currency, the ocean, the frequency. And so I am just a reader. I have been reading since 2015 and really started, and that was during my Saturn return, and really started to go into my own walk through shadow, walk through death walk, I guess spirit walk, like 2019, 2020 when we were in COVID. And I filmed a lot of it. I did a lot of live streams, but I was still trying to piece together all of the things I filmed, all of the things I learned through my own shadow. So a lot of the shadow work we're still doing, even though we're in the year, in a new lunar new year, I would say we also have to take into account Mercury's in retrograde and a really hard sign to discern through, which is Pisces. Mercury will be retrograde in a really emotional sign. So there's not a lot of logical solutions right now. It's really just swimming through it. So I think part of it is understanding that you're not going to have all the answers right now. And part of it is understanding that that's okay, that we're not going to have a lot of answers when it comes to what the truth really is. And even in our own lives, with our own selves, like you can do all the shadow work all day, but there's always something to learn about your own self until we're off this planet. And so I'm only going to be able to come at this from, a human who pulls cards, who knows astrology. But part of that is, a lot of this is the rise of the divine feminine. And with that, we've not seen this. And a huge reason why we have not seen this is because those who have been in power have been exploitative of the feminine and the children. Because of that, we're watching a shift into something we don't understand. We're birthing something we don't understand right now. And so part of that is being like, as I go through my live streams, which I've intuitively felt to just keep showing up, Eight of Pentacles, even though I get maybe 1 view on YouTube, 3 bots on X. I restarted my X account because it's just like, I just feel called to be over there. And then here on Facebook and Instagram, it just, I'm just going to only be coming at it from where I know. but it's all of our knowledge coming together to create this thing. And maybe we were all brought here to understand this. So it's a collective thing. I'm a tiny piece, tiny, 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 tiny fractal of that. So that's my life for today. Actually, that's 30 minutes, so I'm pretty proud. And have a great week ahead. I don't know what my live schedule is going to be this week, but I'll keep showing up and take care. Bye. Safe out there.